Mark my words.
At each time.
Mark my words. Pretty soon, there will be a movement for pedophiles to be accepted in society.
At each time.
That's where it's going. Let's look at the first one. So I don't know if you got the first one's actually quite serious. Okay, guys, this is not a good. I said it's serious, and your first thing is to laugh.
You laugh. I was
don't
laughing
follow
at
my
your
lead.
laughter.
Okay. So the first one's actually quite serious because it's to do with Gaza. Right?
Okay.
So no, that's a lie actually. No, actually that's a lie. Gaza is second.
Okay.
First is actually to do with our very own home here in the UK.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have heard, but I think it was a proposal. I don't think it's come into law yet, but there was a proposal to change the definition of extremism.
It has been changed.
It has been changed. So it actually happened.
Yeah.
When did it happen?
Sometime this week. I think.
Okay.
That
makes sense actually
I was
because
listening to LBC, and obviously LBC make a joke out of everything, and every caller they would call. So how are you today? Where are you calling from today? Are extremists? Because by the new definition, everybody is technically an extremist. I don't know about every.
Okay, so you guys. Okay, so do you guys know what the new definition is, and why
I can't remember
pose
it,
an issue to
but
Christians?
If you
especially?
repeat, you can repeat it, and but I do know why it might cause an issue because I think essentially what they've done.
Let me tell you what the definition is. Then you can
because not even lawyers were not like this definition is mad.
It's too broad.
Yes, and that's the issue. Because so the new definition is that extremism is the promotion or advancement of an ideology based on violence, hatred, or intolerance that aims to, among other things, negate or destroy the fundamental rights and freedoms of others.
You see? Now, I don't want to be that guy, but I did tell you so. This is this is going back to, should Christians be worried?
Yes.
Now, with this new definition,
that's what I remembered,
we should be worried. And again, I don't want to say a prophecy fulfilled because I'm not very good with prophecies, but I'm sure the Bible talks about these kind of events.
The thing is, not just Christians, everybody should be worried because with this definition being so broad, it wasn't just Christians calling, even lawyers were crying out saying this definition is very, very broad.
Essentially,
you could fit anyone and anything into it
so
and have a claim. So we're not leaving it too dangerous and too open for it to be misused, because even with the promotion. So what was the first word? The promotion
or advancement of ideology based on violence, hatred, or intolerance. So the issue the word that's causing issue is intolerance, especially for Christians. I don't know about the other groups, but what I understood is for Christians is intolerance because some of the biblical beliefs may be viewed as intolerant.
Yeah.
So, for example, their approach to homosexuality, for example. Christians, we believe that's a no. Muslims as well, obviously. We believe that's a no, according to our holy scriptures. That could be seen as intolerant of people who are leading that lifestyle.
But that's not just Christians. There's people that are non-believers that don't think that being in the same-sex relationship is right.
But one could argue the issue with someone who's not a believer,
they're not going to go preach about it.
The law, people can change their mind based on the law, especially if it's not based on
actually no let me just jump in on that. Hold on, let me just jump in on that.
Let's say you write on your status something about how you're not tolerant of that fits into that definition, whether you're Christian or not.
Okay, yes, I agree with you, but if we're going to center this, for example, on Christendom, I think this is why I would focus on that, to say that this is why it's a bigger problem for them, for them or for us. But just to go back on what Fasan said, and what you're saying is that what I'm seeing is that they've created a platform where they dictate, they decide. So essentially, a case goes into the court, it's broad, and it's up to the judge to dictate whether that is intolerant or not. You see,
or that's extremism,
or not.
But that's not how the law is meant to work.
No, but that's why people are not happy.
That judge has his own prejudices as well.
But exactly.
And the law is supposed to make it clear which way things fall.
And I guess that's why people are not happy about it.
Who the judge is, the law stipulates that this is A and this is B, this is black and this is white. There is no gray area because if you're going to be a Christian judge, those laws are those laws, full stop.
And I agree with you, and I think this is why this is an interesting conversation, because what essentially they've done, they've created a loophole in the law where a judge it can. Okay, I've seen enough cases, real life cases. I'm not talking about movies, and I do know that they will cite certain clauses to explain why they've reached a certain decision.
Yeah.
Right?
Which
Yeah.
real life cases have you seen?
Oh, they're plenty on YouTube. You know, Amber Heard and whatnot. That was
These
a
are
big
your
one.
definition of real life.
I mean, they are real life.
What do you mean?
Real life, it's all like he had personal experience.
No,
Real life as in not
I,
fiction.
I didn't watch movies. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's
I
not
watched
fictional
real
cases.
cases.
Yeah, go on.
So I know that they and also obviously the one that was very interesting was the last one with Shamima Begum when she got I don't know what level of the court
They were
system,
appealing.
but she came back and she said that no, as far as we are concerned, everything was done lawful. But she didn't just say there's no case. She had to explain clauses and
Yeah, of
whatnot
course. Yeah,
based
yeah,
on this.
yeah.
Da, 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 da. So that will still happen. But then the problem is it's there's still room for them
interpretation.
for interpretation. So they won't just say, oh, we think this. No, they will still do it accordingly. But that definition has opened up a gap for them to be like, well, based on this definition, we think it met A, B, C, D, F, G. Therefore, it's and it's so simple. Like what you're saying, if it's a Christian preaching and others have rang the police, we feel threatened because these people are preaching about homosexuals burning. Well, a judge can see that. Well, did you preach a message that was hateful? Yes. Was it intolerant? Yes. Did people feel offended? Yes. Well, based on all this, that message should have been preached. Game done. Shut down.
I mean, it will be interesting to see how it develops, though, because obviously faith and religion is still part of human rights, fundamental human rights, according to this definition. So we'll see how they start weighing that up. Because I like what the writer of this article said, because they said they expect to see a lot of Christians being thrown before the courts and a lot of cases being brought before the case. So
before the court,
they acknowledge that. Because of this definition, they expect to see a rise, not just Christians as well, but a rise in extremist cases. But then obviously what Pro-Nick is saying, the courts are going to have to sift through that and start deciding, start making judgments and rulings. And I guess those rulings are the ones that are sort of going to set
the precedent.
really show really what this definition is going to mean. But it's interesting because
I think it's also weighing up human rights, because I think sometimes say equal opportunity for all, equal human rights, but actually is that the case? Are some rights taking precedence over other people's rights?
100%.
I can't remember what show I was watching, but somebody said in America you're better off being gay than a black person because those people's rights are being fought for in a particular way than the rights of another person. But actually, as far as equality stands, that's not the notion of equality. So why can so and so live and practice the way that they want, but how come I can't live and practice my Christianity because I offend these people? But actually, the way these people are living their life offend me. So why is no one talking about that? I don't know.
And unfortunately, I think that's the big issue of managing a multicultural society. These are the issues that we are going to have to deal with. And it definitely
what happens
does.
when you're trying to serve everybody. You're trying to go according to everybody.
That's the thing.
Just to jump on what she was saying, I came across the
I don't
clip.
think they're trying to serve everybody. They're trying to serve the loudest shouter. Most politicians, if you're gonna run a society,
but they're only trying to serve that person because before they weren't being served, but then now they're hearing them. Okay, that's fine. We have to serve this person as well. So it's always and this is. I think that's just the way of the world, isn't it? It's you have a marginalized minority, they make enough noise to then be brought into the mainstream. But then there's always people on the fringes. Always people on the
that's what I'm
fringes.
saying.
Mark my words.
At each time.
Mark my words. Pretty soon there will be a movement for pedophiles to be accepted in society.
At each time,
that's where it's going.
It's the loudest. It's the loudest. It's the
That's where
loudest.
it's going.
It's an argument because people are saying, well, if we can accept that gay people are born like that, why can't people accept that actually no one chooses to like
Mark
children?
my words. Mark my words.
Therefore, I'm born like that. If you can accept that someone who's born liking the same gender as them, why can't you accept?
I can make that argument.
Born,
If you want me to believe,
liking children.
Yeah, if you want me to believe that, which I do believe, but if you want me to believe that it's absolutely normal and there's no issue with it about being attracted to the same sex, then yeah, I could very well make the argument that I didn't choose to be attracted
I mean,
to
you've got
minors.
people that are non-practicing pedophiles.
But
Anyway.
that's different. Isn't it? That's anyway. Discussion for another day.
What,
Go on.
non-practicing pedophiles?
Well, yeah, that's like being a non-practicing homosexual, which some Christians are. Some Christians will tell you, yeah, I am attracted to men or women, but because of my belief, I cannot pursue those attractions. Isn't Kirk Franklin? Isn't he one? No, Jonathan McRenwood.
No.
I know there's a famous singer
Donnie
who
McClurkin, I believe.
is it. I know there's a famous Christian
Slandering
singer
people
that
out
has.
here.
Listen, I was shooting. I was shooting. I was gonna hit one of them eventually. All right. I
Puff
know
did
the
it.
famous singer. He has his own issues. He has his.
Do we know why they felt the need to change their definition? What was wrong with the old definition?
I'm guessing maybe they felt like they wanted to include things in there that weren't
Fine.
included.
There were
before.
two
Yeah.
organizations that were
That
named
weren't,
actually in the parliament when the guy was speaking. The British something and another organizations
BNP.
were included as extremist. So
okay,
he
fine,
actually
as a-
did. He actually did say that he gave two examples of two groups in the UK that would now be branded as extremist.
Yeah,
extremist groups.
yeah, and that's why these things are always a bit
Wishy-washy.
silly, because sometimes they will think, okay, you know what, the Conservatives, we don't like the Conservatives. We don't think their ideas are great ideas. Are they extremists? And then they consult their lawyers. Oh no, according to the definition, they can't be. Okay,
If in order
let's
to
change
make
the
them,
definition.
let's change the definition.
Let's change the definition.
Exactly.
So and it's like, well, it's never about what's right and what's true and what's just. It's just about whose agenda is winning, really, which I guess is the point you guys are making. But yes, that's what's happening. So we'll see how that develops. But going on from our conversation last week about has time for persecution come, maybe it's edging
All I'm
closer.
saying is that
This is how
for
it
that
starts.
for that
This is how
preacher
it starts.
we spoke about those weeks ago and the singer.
I thought you meant figure one as the preacher.
No. It's a good time to have a figure one as a preacher. It's not gonna feel pain. Just-
No, actually, I did find it
Programming.
interesting though, because when do you think in Rome, because obviously Christianity, Paul preached the majority of Christianity in the Middle Eastern world or whatever. But how long after Christ died do you think Christianity became legal in Rome?
Like, do you actually know the answer? And you're going to give us the
I
answer
know,
after
I
we've
know,
guessed?
I know,
It
yeah.
was always legal.
Well, I mean, the question should make you think it wasn't.
It wasn't a trick question.
So the side note, there's a certain mentality that I'm proud in myself of now.
Yeah.
I watched this clip,
Eh.
right? It was an experiment that was being done.
Mm-hmm.
They got 3 actors to enter a room, and there was a beep going on. So every time the beep went on, they would stand up. When the beep went on again, they would sit down. So they kept doing that. So they then got real candidates who came for an interview to enter the room, right? So and they gave them no instructions whatsoever, right? So one went in, noticed they're going up and down, and then he also just joined, like that. Just joined. And then those that didn't conform to that, they were removed. I mean, eventually they had like 10 people, and then they removed the actors. So all you had is a group of people going up and down like that at a beep, but they don't know why, right? And I was mind blown. I was like, this is the Matrix. This is what they try to do to you right here. My point being,
Yeah, I was really going to ask where you going with this.
my point being, I know how you asked the question, but I'm calling. I'm calling BS. I'm calling. I'm calling. No, what's the term? I'm calling cheat. I think it was a trick question. I think the way you phrased it was to trick us to.
So
into
how
thinking
did your
it was illegal.
analogy marry?
Conforming. He said,
Conforming,
no, it's not a perfect example, but it's a good
Pronic.
experiment. I mean, it's nothing to do with the Matrix. It's just about how humans work.
It
but
is the
whatever.
Matrix. That's what they
it's
do.
how
They-
humans work.
Okay, no, it's fine.
But
I'll do a
no,
special
it
episode
wasn't a
on the
cheat question.
Matrix.
It wasn't a trick question. It was an
200
legit
years.
question. So you're saying 200 years? Okay. What
Okay,
do you
so
think?
I would have to ask legal in what sense?
As in, it was illegal to be a Christian. You do realize Christians were being killed for being Christians for a very long time.
They were dying martyrs.
Martyrs or just dying.
I think it would have been around the time when Catholicism came into full force. I would say a lot more than 200 years. I would say maybe 500 years plus is when it became legal to be a Christian.
Fair enough. You made that much longer than it needed to be. The answer is actually smack bang in the middle. It was the year 313 AD that to be a Christian was no longer illegal or no longer punishable. Now, that's not to say that obviously if you're a Christian and people knew you're a Christian, they're gonna come to your house and storm you. But it was an illegal.
Is this the time of the woman that was being chased by the dragon and then water was spilled out of the dragon, prophecy wise? I told you I'm not good at prophecy, but I'm making it a point to now to try and understand some of these prophecies. So
So what are you asking?
I'm asking that the time that it was illegal, remember how they say that and the earth opened and swallowed the water?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
We're a Christian podcast.
Well, yes,
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, I don't know. What do you want me to do?
Let's ask figure one.
So assuming
Yes,
we know
I'm
everything.
telling you, I don't. I don't know. No,
No,
but
fair
that
enough.
was for that. That gives a time frame, doesn't it? On to 1,000. No, that's Daniel. But it gives a time frame, innit? 1,260 days or something. And yeah. Anyway, but no, I found that interesting only because obviously now, like you said, Christians will likely
Start
be
being
included
persecuted again.
in the extremism definition. So I was just thinking, is the pendulum swinging the other way? To
Well,
the
it's a
point
good thing
where-
I'm not a Christian.
to the
I'm
point where
a believer.
Being a Christian will actually be
What's the difference
maybe
between
not
a Christian
illegal
and a
but
believer?
frowned
They're
upon.
looking for Christians, not believers.
Okay.
Moving on.
Swiftly.
Okay, it's the second one. So I did say the second one.